Hello, hello. Happy Friday, everybody, all you guys. Welcome to today's stimulus update and news report. I have breaking news, very important news for all you entrepreneurs and small business owners out there. This is She Boss Talk, and I am Shantae R. Roddy, if you don't already know me. I just want to welcome you all in before I get started. I want to make sure everyone is coming in so that you get this important information. We're about to go into the weekend. So definitely this is the time to take action on behalf of your business in regards to all of these various stimulus programs. Some of the highlights that I'm going to really be talking about today are those unemployment overpayments, those huge overpayments, and the possible waivers that you can get so you don't have to pay those back. We're going to be talking about the Community Navigator Grant. Today is the deadline. Today is the deadline for all you organizations out there that are trying to bid for that. Today is the deadline. We'll be talking about that as well. I've been talking about EIDL all this week because that's critical. There's over 20 billion still remaining in the program, and there's challenges that I know a lot of entrepreneurs and small businesses are trying to get through. And then on top of that, there's business owners and entrepreneurs still don't know that they can now apply to the EIDL program and get up to $15,000 for your business. So again, come on in. Let me know who you are, where you're hailing from. Just want to give a shout out and thank you to all of our subscribers. Do give this a thumbs up, hit that love button wherever you're viewing from so more people can see this. Do share out our videos and channels so more businesses can have access to the same information that you have that has helped you in your business, helped you be able to get those grants, helped you to be able to get the stimulus, help you to be able to overcome those denials and get unstuck from these programs so you can get funding for your business. We want more business to have those same opportunities. So again, thank you so much for being an impact by just doing that simple thing, simple as sharing and telling another peer about our channel, about what we're doing, about the programs and resources that we have that are available for them. So with that said, I'm going to get right into it, and then drop a comment. Let us know who you are, where you're hailing from, what your business is. And then I'm going to ask some questions along the way, allow you to ask some questions along the way as well. And then if I don't get to your question, because there's a lot to get through, I always do follow up after the show. Super cool things have been happening. I just want to mention this. I've spoken to so many business owners that view us on a regular basis. I've been helping so many of you all this week get access to additional capital while you're still waiting on your EIDL money or your PPP money or other monies to come in. Businesses need capital, but they're always surprised. Like we get on the phone, right? So under certain situations, we actually get on the phone and talk. And so people are surprised that I actually do respond to emails, and I do respond to phone calls, and I do respond to the comments. So just make sure that it's me. But yeah, I've met some amazing small business owners in all types of industries that need help, that's pushing, that's trying to move their business forward, doing all types of great things. And so I just want to give a shout out to all those business owners before I get started. Before I get into the SBA programs, just want to talk about the stimulus checks. 22.2 million have been sent out over the last 6 weeks. So I want to let you know that those are still going out, those $1,400 checks. And those are largely for those that had a difference in between their 2019 tax return and their 2020 tax return. So it made you eligible for more money. So those stimulus checks have gone out, and including the plus, what they call plus up payments, which is like a supplemental stimulus check for that reason. So the plus up has had 9 million that have gone up. So that's an additional payment. Again, that may be reflective because when you got the stimulus check, your 2019 taxes were on file. You had not yet filed your 2020 taxes, but the IRS takes that in consideration. So they looked at that, saw the difference, and if you were qualified for more, they gave you more money. So if you were one of those, if you received a stimulus check recently, let me know. And if you were one of the recipients of the plus up payments, let me know that as well in the comments. Okay, just let me make sure you can hear me and see me clearly. Just let me know. I see you all out there. Also want to let you know that I mentioned before that there are many people petitioning for a fourth stimulus check, but not just a fourth stimulus check, a $2,000 monthly check. Now, this petition has already reached 3 million signatures. So there hasn't been any indication that there is going to be another stimulus check. We don't know, but let me tell you, a good portion of the American population wants it, needs another stimulus check, and are asking for a monthly additional assistance. Okay, so that is the information for the stimulus check. If you still haven't received yours, wondering where it is, you can check track your payments on the IRS website at irs.gov. Please make sure too, if you're one of those that didn't get the direct deposit, do check your mail for a check or a debit card, because so many, again, don't check their mail. They get their mail and then they just throw it out. So you could potentially throw out the check that belongs to you, and then you will have to wait. Again, that's causing delays in you getting access to your money. But for the majority of us, we've already received our stimulus checks, but they continue to send those out for those that still are still entitled to those stimulus payments. Okay, so that's the third in the entire time that we've been dealing with the COVID-19 pandemic. I want to circle back on the child tax credits. This is super huge. So I know there's many of you all out there that have children that are 17 and under. Most of you all will qualify for the child tax credit. Please let me know in the comments if you have received your first deposit, right? So we know that unless you opt out, you will get a monthly payment through the end of the year, and then you'll be able to claim the remainder of your child tax credits at the end when you file your taxes next year. So we know they increase the tax credit. It's also refundable tax credit. But one thing that you should note is that, you may be concerned. A lot of people are concerned about when they file their taxes, they're looking for a huge refund. I'm so hopeful for the day that we're not reliant on our tax refunds, that we're building wealth, because understand that a tax refund is never guaranteed. Is never guaranteed. But I know a lot of you all look forward to that. So you may notice that you may have a decrease in your refund when you file next year, or if you have significant changes, it may result in an overpayment. Okay, if there's any fluctuation, because these are based on estimates, because you have not yet filed your taxes for 2022. So these are based on estimates. So know if you have some significant decrease or a change, it could result in a lower tax refund if you get any at all, or an overpayment. So those that are head of household filers, if your income is under 50,000 or under, it doesn't matter if there's any excess or not, you won't have to repay it back. And for those that are joint filers that have earning 60,000, it will not matter. So even if there is an excess, it will not impact you. There's nothing that you would have to pay or anything that would have to be offset. But as always, I always recommend you consult with your tax consultants, preparers. Hopefully you're working with those that know what they're doing, and that you don't just reach out to them at tax time. They're supposed to be an advisor to you throughout the year, but you have to pay for those services. But it's in your best benefit, because there are always rules, guidelines, regulations changing all the time. And so, it boggles my mind that people expect a certain amount every year and think any slight change can impact the amount you get or don't get at tax time. But that's not a bad thing. Even if your tax refund is lower, you're getting the money up front. You're getting the money now. So you want to make sure you're spending it wisely right now, right? And then the second half, you spend that wisely on the second half. And I think I know I shared a story about a lady who took one stimulus check and turned that into a multi-million-dollar business. Okay, so let's think like that. We're moving in a direction where we're building wealth. We have a wealth mindset, and we're going to put our money to work. So I encourage you all to do that. Now, I want to talk about, if you have any questions about the child tax credit, let me know. But again, if you receive your monthly check already, I do like to know. Okay, so unemployment, this is super huge. So I want to talk about the unemployment overpayment because I spoke about this before, but I actually had some peers that had a Facebook post yesterday, and several of them were saying how they just out of the blue got a notice that they owe $7,000, $8,000, $10,000 or more in overpayment. They're like, what? Oh my goodness. Now let me let you know there's overpayments for fraud, and then there's overpayments due to some error. It could be an employer error, your error, or the government's error, meaning the unemployment office and the miscalculation of your benefits payment. So those are three different types of reasons that you could have an overpayment. California alone had $13 billion in overpayment. I'm here in Ohio, and we had $1.7 billion in overpayments. But what I want you to know, and many of you all may not realize, so if you know someone on unemployment, you hear them say, oh my God, they're saying I owe this money. The federal government has allocated funds to states to allow for waivers of your overpayment of unemployment benefits if it was not fraud related or any fault of your own. So I can use myself as an example. In 2020, at some point in 2020, I received a notice that I had an overpayment. It actually just changed in my back office in the system. It just said overpayment amount, and it was over 6,000. I'm like, what is this? I'm like, how is this? And I knew for sure it wasn't my fault, and I confirmed that. But it's still to this day it says $6,000. But I knew this was coming down the pipeline. As soon as I could, I had the opportunity, I appealed. So that's what I would encourage you all to do. If you have an overpayment, appeal it. Okay. I appealed it and I never heard back. I'm talking about over a year has gone past now. I never heard anything. But again, I was still waiting to hear about the waiver. So we finally, last week, they sent out the notices to those that potentially had overpayments not fraud related, that we could get a waiver. And then I believe it was Monday, we actually got a second notice that said that the message was in the application to apply was in our portal. You would say our unemployment portal. So look out for that in your state. I know several states have already begun to roll that out and send out notices. If you have received an overpayment notice, if you see it, if you got a notice or it's in your back office saying you owe money, please let me know in the comments. And also, if you received the waiver notice, let me know. Now, I'm going to tell you what's in the state of Ohio. Every state is different, but your state will probably have a process similar to this. Now, there you have to apply for a waiver, so it's not automatic. Like I wish it would. It's like you already know, you have all the information. You know, I provided under appeal. I appealed and provided the information, so they should know whether or not it was their fault. And if they know it's their fault, they should just automatically do it. Okay, yes, they should do it, but they're not. So what am I going to do? I'm gonna follow their process because I'm not going to be left having to pay the $6,000. So if they say you have to submit an application, submit that application, because I know you have to do it here in Ohio, all my Ohio people. And if you do not, so if they open up the application, you do not submit your application, what's going to happen? They're going to proceed with collections of that money. You're going to owe it. Okay, so you don't want to do that. So the same day, you know, I tell you all, I would drop what I'm doing. I do not delay. I don't procrastinate. I don't wait to forget, and then it's expired and I'm stuck with $6,000 that I know I shouldn't have to pay back. So I applied. So they said that they're going to start processing those applications in late summer. So for those of you that have already applied, you can look for late summer. Now, they will ask you for verification of your employer or government program error. I know I didn't provide any additional documentation. I did that under appeal. They didn't ask me to upload any documentation. I just gave the summary basically of what I put in my appeal is the same calculation that was done. Now, this is also important for all the self-employed individuals that's on PUA benefits because a big thing that happened is they don't know how to calculate self-employment income. That's what happened to me. So I gave them I gave them my tax returns, gave them all the information. They miscalculated. That's not my fault. So they did that for a lot of other entrepreneurs, small business owners out there that have self-employment income. They're used to looking at W-2 income. They're not used to looking at business income, and people don't know how to calculate it. So they miscalculate. That's not my fault, again, and it's not your fault. But you need to go through the appeal process, and you need to find out about a waiver and apply for the waiver, follow whatever process they set forth, so that you can get any overpayments waived. $6,000, $7,000, $8,000, $9,000, $10,000 is a lot of money. And we're in a position right now, we're still trying to play catch up. We're still in a pandemic, trying to get our businesses back to where they were, and not to be burdened by additional thousands of dollars to have to pay back. Okay. So that's important for you, because I know millions of us entrepreneurs and small businesses at some point in time, and some of you still are on unemployment. Now, with that said, 7 states have sued their states for ending PUA benefits. These are those federal benefits for those that didn't qualify for traditional benefits, like us, small business owners and entrepreneurs. So 7 states have been sued. All the Republican states pulled out of the federal program well in advance of the deadline, which is September. That means every self-employed person, once they ended that benefit, they snatched you clear off of any benefits. They didn't only just take the $300 additional per week. Any benefits you were getting, you were taken off of it because they ended it. If you did not qualify under the traditional program. So if you know, I don't know all of the states. I think Tennessee is one of the states. I think Florida. I know definitely Ohio was sued, I think last week or the week before. But a lot of people are joining a class action lawsuits to get those benefits back. And if they do win it, then you will be able to qualify for those back payments. And I know some of you all have reported that you have struggled to get through to your state unemployment offices. I would flood your governor's office. I would flood your mayor's office. Because it's like ridiculous. The fact that you cannot get through and get anything done. You can't just stay there. You have to take the next step. Whatever you have to do, go to the news, call your governor's office, call your mayor's office, call your economic development office, your business offices, and tell them what's going on. Call your congressional office and tell them what's going on and how your small business is being impacted. I would encourage you all to do that. So that's unemployment. Again, super big breaking news on unemployment, because I know a lot of you all have been there, whether you're still on it or you were on it before. That is important information to you. Reach out to your state and take that action. Now, moving on to, I'm gonna talk really quickly about the Shuttered Venue Operators Grant, because this is a grant program that still has plenty of money available, billions still available for you all to apply. If you're a live venue or you represent or manage live talent that performs live, right? Artists, musicians, comedians, anyone that performs at live venues where people pay a ticket price to get in. If you have a museum, an aquarium, a cultural arts center, a theater, there are small businesses that are in these industries. If that is you, you can still have time to apply for the Shuttered Venue Operators Grant. There is no word that they have any time that are closing that program anytime soon. So there's still money available for you all to apply. If you know someone that is in that industry, please encourage them to go apply for that program. I know they're already have approved so many. I've already reported on that and have started sending out checks. Now you do need to be registered in sam.gov. And you need to have a DUNS number for your business in order to be able to apply in their system. Okay, so if you have any questions on Shuttered Venue Operators Grant, and that may be a good resource. Well, no, because if you already applied for the Restaurant Revitalization Grant, that already closed and you couldn't apply for both. But if you didn't apply for the Restaurant Revitalization Grant and want to go after the live venue and you qualify, just check the qualifications to make sure you qualify and then go ahead and apply. So I want to talk about the Restaurant Revitalization Grant. I believe about a week or so ago, the SBA officially announced the close of the Restaurant Revitalization Grant. We know that there's several lawsuits. There's thousands of business owners that were actually awarded. They had their awards rescinded. I don't think any of them ever got their payment. There's actually a bill out right now to actually provide more funds to the program of $60 billion to make it all the applicants that qualify be able to get access to their grant money. So there were still many applicants that were left out of that program. My understanding is there's well over 100 co-sponsors on that bill. So why it hasn't passed at right now is beyond me before it closed. But again, if that's you, if you're in the restaurant industry, really push them to pass the bill to reinstate that program to give all those applicants their grant money. That was a grant up to $10 million. I think the average grant was like over 100,000. I think it was even more like 200,000 because that industry, food and beverage industry, was one of the hardest hit industries. So I'm still monitoring that. They have not reopened it, and we're monitoring the bill to see if they're going to pass it. Why they're dragging their feet. That's why you have to keep putting pressure on Congress to do what they need to do, because it should have been just passed. Like, we agree, these businesses have been hard hit. They should have funded over $100 billion in the first place, and we wouldn't even be here in this situation. But here we are, and we have to continue to fight for what we deserve. Now, moving on to PPP forgiveness. People keep asking me, can you still apply for PPP? No, you cannot. We have moved on. It's closed. It is not I don't think it's ever going to reopen. There's no word that it is, but there are applications still in process. Now, the deadline for the SBA to process all those applications was June 30th. We're in July. So my understanding is they pushed the date to July 31st, but there's still 20 billion applications in the pipeline. That means that it's under review. Okay, so I had put out a questionnaire about how many people were still in process, and I was so shocked by how many were, and there's been no movement, no correspondence, no nothing. So it's like, what is happening with your application? So if you've heard anything lately regarding your application, if you've gotten it funded, if you've moved your status to approve, if you've heard from your lender or SBA, please let us know in the comments. Now, $394.6 billion has already been forgiven. That's a lot. So that equals 4 million loans that have already been forgiven. So we know, even though there's still some in the pipeline, many of us have already been funded. It's just a matter of making sure you're spending your money on eligible expenses. It is not automatic forgiveness, but that's what you want. You want 100% forgiveness. You need to make sure you're spending it on eligible expenses, at least 60% on payroll, and that you go through your lender to apply for forgiveness. That's who you go back to. Now, the SBA is working on this new portal. They provided an update that they're still working on it to roll it out. Now, this will be for special circumstances where, for instance, your lender has been very non-responsive or they close. So when they roll it out, they will give more guidance as to the portal. But right now, you going to your lender to apply for forgiveness. My lenders have already notified me of the timelines and when they're opening forgiveness. So one of my lenders, the lender for my second draw, is already ready, but I don't want to apply for my second draw to apply for my first draw. And so I know those applications will be open before the end of the month, and we're here already. So I checked yesterday to see when they're going to open. So I'm just monitoring for that and then get that moving along. And I will provide progress. My progress is when I get it forgiven, I will share that because that's what you want to happen, because otherwise you will have to pay that back. And the whole purpose is to get it forgiven so it turns into a grant. So that means it's free money for you and your business. And really, if you receive any money, $150,000 or less, there's really no reason why you should have to pay it back, unless there was some type of fraud or error on your part. I already mentioned that there's a possibility you may get a notice from your lender just stating that you have an overpayment of your PPP. That means it was either your error on your end or their end. It really doesn't matter. If there was any type of overpayment of funds that were not eligible for forgiveness, then you would have to pay that portion back if it is over $10. So I did a video specifically on that, so you could check that out on our YouTube channel. We have a playlist dedicated to PPP and dedicated to EIDL and the COVID-19 related stimulus updates. So that is that news. So 22 billion again dollars worth of loans are still in process with the SBA. Total of 798 billion has been allocated to the PPP program. So that's a lot of money. That's just short of $1 trillion that have been dedicated to this program and gone out to small businesses around the country. Now, I want to talk about EIDL because there's a lot of discussion about this, especially related to the portal. Again, I said I've talked to so many, I can't even keep count of the small business owners I've talked to this week about helping them get access to funding and then resolving some of their EIDL issues. EIDL, you're going in your portal and your processing, your increase, it just disappeared. It's been withdrawn and you didn't get any type of notification. And you call the SBA and they say, wait for an email notice, which you need to wait for. I know some other commentators are have advised on this, but this is something I've said from the very beginning. I'm always about documentation. So what if you have not had this there, like last week, and I did a video on this, there was like a mass deletion or blank out of the portal where it had to deal with EIDL loan increases. So you had an increase amount, you requested increase, it's no longer there. And you may then have gotten a notice to say it was due to inactivity. And it's not even on your fault. It's inactivity on the behalf of the SBA. And so there's been people that's saying, oh, well, there's not enough loan officers and loan officers are quitting and this and that. That really doesn't matter. They should have a process and a system in place that they know if it timed out, whose fault it is. Okay? So they know when you call and you say, okay, it's in processing. Is there anything I have to do? No, it's still in process. What else as the business owner are you to do? But wait, you're checking your portal. Like we've just, it's like become neurotic, checking our portals to check the status. Have I gotten an update? Have I gotten an update? Because you have no clue, no estimate of time of when it's going to move from one status to the next. And you've been in one status, like it's like Groundhog's Day, right? You've been in one status for the same status. Nothing changes day after day after day. And people ask me this all the time. The only timeline that I can give you that is actually in the law is the 21 days they have for the grant to process, 21 days to process your grant and issue a determination of approval or deny within 21 days of your submission of the application. Other than that, I can't tell you how long it moves from processing to submit, from submit to approve, from approved to funded on any of these things. There are no timelines. And no internal rep has given those timelines either. So it's very frustrating. So even though they're moving more quickly, like with the loans and the increases and the grants, it's still so many of you all that are frustrated. And I hear it and it pains me. I can't do anything about it with the EIDL. What I've been doing is trying to help them get access to other types of capital while they're waiting. There's nothing I can do about the wait, except tell you what to do to take the next steps. You got to escalate it. You got to do whatever you have to do. If you're not getting through and people say, okay, yeah, I went to tier 2, then the best next step you can do is to contact your congressional leader in your state, leaders in your state, reach out to them and let them know what's going on with your application. They will respond, give them time to respond. It may be 24 hours. It could be 48 hours. I can't remember. It was relatively quickly for me. And then they will send you a release form. You must sign the release form, giving them permission to contact the SBA and speak on your behalf so they can talk about your file and get it moving. This is another thing. If you go into your portal today and you have not been hit by the massive deletion of your increase, take a screenshot of your information. I said this before. You all need to have a file, an email file and a Google Drive file, cloud file, wherever you file your stuff on everything related to these programs you're applying for. I've been doing this from the very beginning. I take a screenshot of everything. So take a screenshot of your pour order, where it's at. So it's showing what is processing. It shows that you request X number of increase on your EIDL loan before it actually disappears and there's no record. When you call them, you want to ask them or let them know, ask them for permission to record the call. You know, you can record the call. They record the calls, right? You can record the call as long as you ask for permission. If they say no, hang up and call again and wait for someone that says, yes, you can record the call. Okay, this is very important. Any correspondence you receive, you want to save it again in your file. I have files for every single application I have filled out. I don't care what the application is. When they have a submission screen, acceptance screen, issue my application number screen, loan number screen, I have access to all of that. I always take a screenshot. Like on my computer, it should be similar to yours. You have a control button and a print screen button near the top. Hit those at the same time. It would take a screenshot, go to Paint, put it in Paint, and then check and then save the file as an image file. And there's other tools you can use as well. There's snippet tools and all other kind of tools. You can just simply use your cell phone and take a screenshot. It may not be as clear. Just make sure everything is legible, that you can read it. But start taking these screenshots so you have proof that you can go to your SBA district office or your congressional member and say, look, this is what it was. Now they're saying I have inactivity. They're the ones that had the inactivity. So even if they say they have a 2-month timer or a 90-day timer on your file, that's their issue internally to track that and make sure they're following up with your file. And then if they have turnover, that there's someone else to take over your file. That's not on us as the small business owner to do that. I mean, but then now is blank. Now you have to go through the process to file for reconsideration. So now you're delayed. You've already been delayed months. Now it says you withdrew your application, which you never withdrew. And now you have to go through the reconsideration process. And then when you're on the phone, I would ask them, you can't verify this, but please notate the fact that I never withdrew. I'm telling you, I never withdrew from this program. This was an internal error. What is going to happen next? What are the next steps? And you could be recording that as well. So even if they don't document it, because I've had situations many times where people were supposed to document my file and didn't do it. That's why I have all kind of notebooks. Every day I have a date. Even this presentation, I have a date stamp. What am I talking about? Who did I talk to? What's the date? What are the notes? On everything. So I could go back to it. And I put things on my calendar. Who did I talk to? So I can always track back. There's always a trail if anything comes into question. That's how I've been able to overcome so many denials. And I've been denied a few times for grants and other things. And I overcame them when they sure told me I was denied, I was in the wrong. And I was like, no, I was not, ma'am, sir. And here's proof that it was on your end is where the error was. And I, again, will go to the top. I will go to whoever I need to go to make it happen. And okay, is it fair? Should we have to do it? No. I mean, no, we shouldn't. But what else are we going to do? Just wave the white flag and say, I give up? No, I'm not giving up on money that is due to me. I will go to Twitter. I will go to the news. I will get on YouTube. I will go to TikTok. You all are on all these platforms. Go to TikTok. That's what one gentleman did when he was told he had an overpayment of like $20,000 of his PPP. He went to YouTube, and then that got picked up in the news. We have to continually use our voices, use our power to get this message out around the country that small businesses are still suffering. We still need more funding. There's still inequity in a lot of these programs. A lot of us are still being left out in these programs, and the challenges and the hoops we have to jump through to get access to these funds is ridiculous. Everybody has to talk about it, and talk about it to the people who matter, who can make decisions and change it and make some things happen. That's just what we have to do. So yes, it's frustrating. Yes, it's unfair, but we have to continue to push. You can't give up. Just keep pushing. And that's why I try to bring other alternatives and try to give you ways to to stimulate your own economy, get access to some other funds, some other grants, make more money in your business, get access to other types of capital, because it's going to take a combination of these things for you to be able to really thrive in your business. Okay, it's not just one thing. It's not just one funding source. You can't put all your eggs in one basket. And one lady I'm actually helping to get funding. She joined my team. I have now 22 independent agents that we as a team help small business owners around the country get access to capital. Same day, up to 25K, right? You only need a 450 credit score, 5K monthly sales transaction, be in business only 6 months, and there's no hard pull on your credit. And so she was amazed by this program. She has a great business, and I believe it's in Texas, Florida. And she works with yachts, and she had a booming business, and it went down during COVID, and she's slowly trying to pick it back up. She's trying to get her funds. She qualified for the targeted grant, and guess what? It got delayed, bank issues, right? Then she applied for the loan. It's delayed. It's like, what are you to do, right? So you have to seek out other funding sources. So want to let you know too that the EIDL grant, for those that have not yet applied to the EIDL program, the EIDL loan, if you apply in 2021, you can possibly qualify for up to $15,000 grant. You have to apply for the loan first. We have step-by-step videos on our channel. Apply for the loan first. You do not have to be approved. And if you're approved, you don't have to accept it in order to get the grant. But if you need the loan, take the loan. If you qualify for it, it's a long-term loan, 1% interest rate, 30-year maturity on it. SBA, these loans are long-term loans. So you have 30 years to pay it off. Okay. So, but how long it takes to get it is the thing. That's the challenge. So while you're waiting on that, get the funding to fill in the gap. We have the link on the screen here and in the show notes and the description. I will pin it to the comments afterwards. Again, shoot your shot. See if you're eligible. No obligation to see if you can get approved for funding. We actually fund up to $2 million, but most people need 25K and under. Okay. And so, again, apply for the programs that are out here. Just to remind you that the federal government has given every state billions of dollars. So your state should have programs available for you, whether it's small business grants and whether it's other relief programs like mortgage relief. You may, if you are struggling to pay your mortgage, struggling to pay your rent, your state, every state is different. Check for mortgage relief payments. You can get I think here, they paid up to a year or more in mortgage, a year or more in rent, your water bill, all your utilities, water, sewer, gas, electric. There's a national program I spoke on before for lower income individuals. There's a broadband grant where you get a discount on your cable. So just about every utility, everything that you may have, there's a program out there to be able to assist you. You just have to know where to find it. And just go to your state. Go to your state governor's office first and call them. If you don't know where to go, call them and say, okay, where can I find the program that provides mortgage relief, rent relief, utility relief? There's some states that are giving out stimulus checks. There are some states that are actually giving out, they're helping out with even funeral costs and car costs. It just depends on your state. So look at your state and what they're doing. And if your state isn't doing anything, again, contact your governor. Okay, we know you got billions of dollars. Where's the money to help us with rent and mortgage and with our small businesses? And if they're leaving out businesses, call them and ask them, why is their business being left out? Where's the money for your business? Because they tend to do that. If you don't have employees, they leave you out. If you don't have a brick and mortar, they leave you out. So we have to continue to call them and have them correct these errors. Otherwise, it will continue to happen. So again, you have to use your power, use your voice, fight for what you want, and fight for what you deserve. You know, you just have to be able to do it, and then shoot your shot. There's no shortage of grants and other programs that's out right now. I post them all the time on our Facebook page. They're on our grant tracker, on our website. So if you're not subscribed to our email list, you definitely want to get on our email list. We give a lot of great information of value to our email subscribers. They're usually the first ones to know anytime a new grant comes out. I just announced 2 women's grants yesterday. The Comcast, we've had several of our viewers win the Comcast grants. That's for minority businesses. They were giving out money. Then on top of that, now they're giving out like free marketing, media. Comcast, look them up. Okay. So, but you have to be in their service area. But I know people that have won the grant and actually got professional commercial videos created for them and put in the national spotlight. One person sent me a testimonial, I believe it was 2 weeks ago, and she shared her commercial with me. She actually nominated me to serve on the council of underserved for the SBA. And she shared that testimony with me. It was a wonderful commercial. She said that national commercial got her so many clients. So the grant may not be monetary. It may be something like that. It may be a commercial or free advertising credits. Facebook did that. Google has done that. For nonprofits, Google is still doing that, right? Is giving those ad credits. Facebook is still doing that. So there are so many grants, pitch competitions. So I'm applying for one now through SCORE. Is Key and SCORE have partnered together. I'm actually a SCORE mentor. If you don't know, a subject matter expert there with the organization. If you're not connected to SCORE, highly recommend that you do. It's a great resource for you. But we have one for women here in Ohio. So I'm entering that pitch competition. So it's endless. So one of my peers, she just won the Black Ambition, right? Pharrell, if you know Pharrell, right? The artist, that's even on our website. It's there, but how many of you are too intimidated to apply? Shoot your shot. She was one of the winners. Now, the top grant went to a tech company for $1 million. I mean, so these are huge grants here. And the process to apply is not complicated as it typically is for some of these like government grants. Like we in the grant industry know that, right? So use the tools that are available. We have a cheat sheet. If you haven't picked it up, it's $47. It is the best money you will have ever paid. Just read all the testimonials on the page. It's clear how many people have won grants using that cheat sheet. You can get the masterclass bundle. We had a live interactive masterclass, me teaching the class. So between the cheat sheet and the masterclass, there's no reason why you can't secure thousands of dollars for your business. I don't care if you're a startup or if you've been in business for a long time. I don't care what type of business, what type of industry it is, you can get a grant. I mean, trucking, daycare, restaurant industry, medical industry, e-commerce industry. It does not matter. There's a grant out there with your name on it. You just have to decide if you're going to go after it or not. Right? So, people think it's the complicated things that keep them from getting grants, but it's things like you just simply didn't check your inbox. You just simply didn't check your spam folder to know that you had an opportunity sitting there. A lot of you are doing that. So you probably have an opportunity right now because you have not even thought to check your spam. You just think everything in spam is spam. And it's not. The SBAs, their emails often go to spam. Grantors, their stuff often go to spam. My emails a lot of times go to spam, even when I'm just responding to someone that sent me a message. So I check my spam and promotional folders on a daily basis because all types of opportunities come. Whether people want me to be on their show, they want to sponsor us, be a partner. And if I just ignored those folders, I would be ignoring opportunities. Don't ignore opportunities that are valuable that you can potentially miss. Don't miss out on $15,000 because you don't want to look at your inbox. And then look at the instructions. What is the read, right? What is it asking for? What are the eligibility requirements? Make sure that you follow those. That is one of the number one reasons. That's a tip I have in my cheat sheet. But that's the number one reason why people don't get grants. It's not because you didn't fill out the application, you didn't submit, or you didn't write a good, compelling story. It's just that you didn't follow instructions or you didn't follow through. They said the deadline was the deadline. You decided that you was going to wait till 12:01 when they said it was due at 12 o'clock. I've seen people do that too, and you got locked out. Don't do that, right? Let's be proactive. Let's do our due diligence with regards to these programs, and let's go after what's ours. So again, if you need any help, if you have any questions, you can always reach out to us at hello@shebosstalk.com. Just allow 24 hours for us to respond, but we're very responsive in that regard. Drop any questions that you have if you have them. And again, I always love to engage and just follow up and ask your questions. Share your testimonials, your success stories. If you got a grant, if you want to pitch competition, if you got accepted to an accelerator, whatever it is, if you overcame a denial, share it, because that gives people hope that they can do the same, that it's actually people are having success because we are. Okay? But they don't see it. They don't know it. So we have to share it with them so that they do know, and that can motivate them to take action on behalf of themselves. Okay? So thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you all have a wonderful weekend. Continue to be the boss with amplified impact, and continue to stay safe and in good health. You all have a wonderful day.